Really good, really good. I didn't have that much expectations because it's very first time I haven't been even as a tourist, only once in Miami like 7 years ago. So I was actually as just a 5-day vacation once, and then we had the 70,000 tons this year. But everything is so new to me, so I didn't have really expectations. I've heard things that it might be more rough touring in US than it's in Europe. We've been touring quite much in Europe, but so far it's been really cool. Yeah, it's been better. Then again, stories that I've heard also came from like good friends from Swallow the Sun, and one of their tours they did with a van. They were sitting and sleeping while sitting in a van for like 6 weeks or so. So those stories that you hear, like nobody tours like that in Europe. So I've heard really rough stories. I'm good friends of the guys from Amorphis, and I've heard like their really early age tours when they just started. So no, I think it's to me it works really well to get out from Finland quite frequently. Like the more you spend in your home country, the more things get just average. You lose a special, feeling about things if you are surrounded by them constantly. The more you are out from your home country, the more special you start to see the country. So actually I think it's a good thing to be like touring quite much, and when I go back to Finland then everything is like super cool when I'm back home. So no, not homesick yet at least. It was really difficult. It was like, it's horrible actually, because luckily we have 40 minutes. It could have been like 25 since we are opening for this package. So I think it's a really good set length, especially when there's a lot of people in the audience who haven't heard our music. So it will leave the appetite if they like the music. But it is always horrible because you just need to cut so many songs off that you want to play. Now we have a new album out, which means we have 7 new songs to pick from. So it's getting more and more difficult. But yeah, it's always nerve-wracking to chop off the songs. I think more and more we've been touring, we've been noticed that a live situation, the faster songs work better for the audience and also for the band. They are just so much more fun to play when you have more things to play, like a lot more notes in a shorter amount of time. And because of that, it's just naturally the songwriting went in the faster direction. So and I kind of make like the decision also before the recordings that for this album I don't want to make a slow song as an ending song, because all the first 3 albums of Wolfheart there's this really slow like doom ending song. I didn't want to repeat the pattern. I just wanted to do something else, and that kind of like makes this album as a whole faster because it's missing now that one default doom song in the end. But I think one of the reasons is that we like to play the faster material live, so now we wrote more like a live album than previously. Yes. Yeah. Interesting question. Never had to actually think about it that way. 2 ways. Actually, I used the other one. I've used it as a reference, as people who could hear it even. But the way I try to do the producing is, and with the dynamics and everything, with the playing and how I want the tracks to be recorded, the amount of tracks and the mixing and everything. I want the songs to sound very organic and big at the same time. And I'm not big fan of the digital technology in the studio. We didn't use any reamping or digital effects on the guitars. Everything is really old school amp and cabinet, mic in front of the amp. All the effects were actually like real effect pedals instead of like nothing digital. So, and with that I try to make the music sound like it's an avalanche or lava. It's just like a force of nature that's just rolling over everything. So for a deaf person I would show an avalanche because it's a winter metal, so kind of like the whole snow thing is really fun. I think so. There was a lot of different reasons also why I buried the other bands. Mainly Before the Dawn had some issues with the labels. That was the main reason, and at the same time the other bands were just like a side project for Before the Dawn. So one of the main reasons was also to get rid of the shitty labels, or not, I should say that, to get better labels, let's put it that way. And those are the key factors also for Wolfheart. We were able to get really good labels, good management, good booking agency that actually push the band forward, not slow things down. So, and also of course now my musical energy is focused only on Wolfheart. I was really pissed off with some of the issues with Before the Dawn. So that was the reason why I had so many side projects, so I could just focus on the music and don't need to think about the business side. And now nothing is actually making me pissed off anymore, so I can just focus all the energy on Wolfheart, so that is also pushing the band more forward now. I do miss the songs, and we previous summer and this summer we played one special festival show with Before the Dawn, and Juho, who was the longest time in the band as a member and Before the Dawn, he's also a session guitar on this tour, and he has recorded all Wolfheart albums and mixed them, so it's kind of like I've kept the same team with Wolfheart also quite heavily. And I do miss like most of the songs. I would like to play the songs, I wouldn't like to run the band anymore. Not at all. There were some issues also with the lineup, and I wouldn't know which lineup I would actually bring, because for the last album there was a different lineup, for the first 3 albums there was a different lineup, in the middle there was a different lineup that made the album Deadlight that was the most successful, so it would be tricky like which lineup it would even be that I would bring. So touring would be really difficult, because I think that would raise the issues inside the lineup also. Maybe some special festivals, so might happen, in theory, who knows. Yeah. Okay, it would be really cool if Johnny Cash would make an acoustic cover of one of our songs. Maybe, it depends. I've been asked a few times a similar thing, but tying the music only for the movie and letting go the song and then somebody just cuts a few pieces and use it as a background or something, that doesn't sound too good to me. So financially it would make sense, but I fear that I would get attached to the songs too much and I would actually want to use them as an album song, and then I would kind of like just lost that music. So who knows, maybe in theory, but it feels a little bit weird to me to just hand out songs for some use that wouldn't be in my control. I don't really listen, especially during touring, I hear so much metal music every night, so I just watch movies or TV series, no music at all, because I hear sound checks and gigs and everything every day, so nothing related to metal music.
And for when you're at home, you know?
At home either. I haven't had any like a stereo system hooked up for like past 10 years. But then again, I also write quite much music constantly, and I play different instruments, so I get amount of music from there. So when I'm at home, I like things to be quiet, or then I just watch TV or movies. I will be focusing on my day job. I've been working as a gardener for 22 years now. And it's like a slash gardener and landscaper, and mainly like this work inside management. I don't plant flowers, that's where I go with my limit. I don't, that's too much. Anything bigger than flowers, that's mine. And the best thing ever, the best job I could imagine is if somebody builds a summer cabin in Finland in front of a lake, and he needs a yard to be done, and then he hires me. And luckily I get to do that quite often. So I would just do that, because working outdoors, building stuff with your hands, and you know, creating kind of stuff, that's just really cool. It is. It can be. In the best scenario, it's like it's almost like a hobby, because that's what I would, if somebody would ask me, what would you like to do tomorrow, and if somebody would just have me unlimited budget, build something cool for this yard, that would be ideal. Another tour. There's a European tour starting just 7 days after this one is done. Then we're gonna be Finnish tour in December. We're gonna come back to US in the beginning of the year. This is gonna be published right after this tour. So I'm gonna be like super booked until February. We'll see in January.